All right. As always, hello, Sean. Welcome. Or I should say, welcome back. You're a pretty common visitor around here. So, welcome, Sean. Hello. David, hello. Same to you. In between the lanes, we got our normal returners here. Hope you guys are all doing good. Hope you guys all enjoyed the racing at Watkins Glen. As always, got to tweet this out, got to put this out on the post, let people know we're live. Might get us like 3 extra viewers at most, but I mean, at least I got to try. Clausen Z, hello. Oh man, I knew I was going to forget that tab. Clausen Z, you are tasked with reminding me in 30 minutes if you're still here. If you're not here, we're good. But if you're still here in 30 minutes, you got to remind me to bring up the fantasy standings. I had another good week. I'm on a bit of a hot streak, so. Anywho, what a weird weekend at Watkins Glen. I really don't know how else to put it. Brock, hello. John, hello. Just truly a weird weekend. I and it wasn't even the on track. We saw some normal odd incidents, big crashes. We've seen big crashes at Watkins Glen before. We've seen wrecks. We've seen incidents with the leaders. We've seen, I don't know. Like, we've seen some odd on-track stuff at Watkins Glen before, but it's the Zilisch injury. I mean, let's just start off with that. It almost still doesn't feel like that actually happened. I mean, we've seen guys get hurt before. It sucks. You don't want to see anyone get hurt. I mean, heck, Zilisch got hurt in the car earlier this year at Talladega. Like, you don't want to see it, but it's. I've never seen anyone get hurt falling off their car in victory lane. I mean, the victory lane injury I remember is when Brad Keslowski popped the champagne bottle. It broke and it sliced his hand open. But Zilisch here, full on broke his collarbone and is in a sling. I truly, it was a very odd evening. We all expected him or SVG to win that race. Zilisch goes on to win that race. Was the best car that whole day. Him and SVG had their incident, of course. We can talk about that more if you want to. But, he gets out of the car in victory lane. And here was the first odd thing about it. Before the injury even happened, we didn't even have a front stretch interview. Normally, after the race winner in the modern days of NASCAR, they get out and they immediately get interviewed on the front stretch. We don't do the victory lane interview anymore. Well, they didn't do a front stretch interview on the CW. So, I'm sitting there like, okay, we're going to get to hear from Zilisch, his win, and then, he'll go do his media stuff, and we'll kind of get to hear more of what he said on the SVG thing. And then he falls, like, very awkwardly. He goes down, and, the cameraman, he's not anticipating that Connor Zilisch is going to fall out of the car or fall off the car like that. And the camera angle, it looked much worse. So, I mean, once again, good that he didn't hit his head, hurt his head. Good that he didn't hurt his neck. It still sucks that he got hurt, but just the fact that it could have been so much worse. So you never want to see anyone get hurt, but just once again, bizarre. Brock, maybe I'm too soft. Maybe I am. And look, you're allowed to have your opinion, but that mentality there, I just think is weird. I understand if you're an SVG fan, Connor Zilisch wrecks your guy, and if someone wrecks your guy, you're going to be upset at them, whether it's for a week, a month, or a year, or whatever. But karma for Zilisch for the SVG incident would have been Connor Zilisch getting spun out on the next restart, and he finishes 20th. Laughing and saying it's karma for a guy falling off his car and breaking his collarbone, I just don't think that's the right mentality. Maybe I'm too soft, as I said, but that's weird to me. Just like borderline rooting for a guy to get hurt because he wrecked your guy. Like, things happen on the racetrack. People get wrecked. People get spun out. And, as I said, like, if you're a Shane van Gisbergen fan, you're probably mad about what happened there. And yeah, if you're Shane van Gisbergen, if you're a fan of his, if you're the 9 team, like, you're upset about what happened, for sure. It's understandable. He got dumped. He got sent into the wall. Like, you can be mad, but, like, sitting there when Connor Zilisch falls off the car and being like, ha, 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 like, I don't know. That's not me. Once again, I don't know. Maybe I'm too soft, but I just think that's a little odd. Yeah, Clausen Z, you said it. Luckily, he didn't break anything else. It could have been so much worse. Just so weird that it's such a bizarre. Bizarre is the word. Like, we even saw Cole Custer a few years in Xfinity. He won and he did his traditional get 2 beer bottles, smack them together, and pour them on his head. And he kind of leaned back a little bit too much, and he fell. And he tried to save it. Like, he was running backwards and he tripped and he landed on his butt. Like, no harm, no foul. Maybe a little bit of a bruise back there, which is a little odd. But, he didn't break his collarbone. It's just bizarre is the word of the day for that incident. But Born Again Briar, hello. Zero Apex, welcome. Marty, hello. Marty, once again, like, okay, so yeah, let's I didn't pull up a replay of it. So let's go to the Xfinity race results. You see here Connor Zilisch is your winner. Scroll down all the way to the bottom. 31st is Shane van Gisbergen. So, you're probably wondering, how did Shane van Gisbergen finish 31st on a road course? Well, he got wrecked. Like, I think we all know that. I don't really need to go through it at all. But what Marty is saying here is, good evening. I've lost all respect for Denny Hamlin after what he said on his YouTube channel. He said SVG was to blame for the Xfinity crash with Connor Zilisch. Absolute rubbish. So, Marty, I get what you're saying. Like, I'm personally on the side of, I think that's more Zilich's fault. I think that, I understand Denny's argument that SVG could have left him more room, but Zilisch is the one who went wide. Zilisch is the one who went off the racetrack. Zilisch is the one who had to get back on the racetrack. And on top of that, he was still behind SVG. If he was ahead of SVG, I think he comes back on the track like he did, and they probably make contact, but it's door-to-door contact, and he forces him up the racetrack. And that's the extent of the contact. That's not even dirty. That's, bully ball, if you want to call it that. But when you're behind, and I get Zilisch had been sitting behind him 7, 8, 9 laps, and, Zilisch said he did a podcast today, I think it was Door Bumper Clear, and he had kind of said he was being patient, he was trying his best not to make contact, not to move him out of the way, not to wreck him, not to spin him or anything. And, your patience runs thin for sure. You've been sitting there for so long trying to do everything right, trying to force him into a mistake, but it's hard to force NASCAR's best road racer right now into a mistake. That's the fact of the matter. And then it just happened that you had two guys going for the same space and they collide. But once again, I lean more towards that was Zilich's fault. I see Denny's argument. I see what Denny sees in a sense that Shane van Gisbergen could have left him more room, but once again, I just think Zilisch should have lifted there. There were still 18 laps to go. Last lap if that happens, you can make the old argument, oh, I wasn't going to lift, it's for the win. But when it's 18 laps to go, I don't know. Yeah, that's just me. And once again, so I don't know if it's worth getting super mad. You can disagree with Denny, but I don't know if it's worth getting that upset. But, once again, I'm more on the side of it's Zilich's fault. No intent, nothing like that. But, anyhow, that's just me. Sean says, I think it helps the build up to the teammate battle we will get in Cup next year. So yeah, I mean, that's the next debate point. We come over here to Cup, different road course, same result. Shane van Gisbergen wins, and then he wins by, what's the margin? 11.116 seconds. So once again, Shane van Gisbergen has drop kicked the field in the face on a road course. It's been the story of the year with the exception of COTA. And COTA, Shane van Gisbergen in his post-race press conference said that, you think about last year with Colleague, he didn't win with Colleague last year on the Cup side of things, but you got to think about the factors there. Part-time team, part-time driver, they don't really get time to get to know each other in a sense. Like, they had 8 races together last year. That's not even a quarter of the schedule. So you don't get a time to gel. You don't get time to learn each other. You're not doing it every single week. So there's going to be inconsistencies. Things are going to be off. But since Shane van Gisbergen's had an entire year with this 88 team, they've had time to figure it out. They went to COTA. They were strong early, but they faded late. They adjusted on it. They figured it out. SVG figured out what he wanted in the setup of the car. The 88 team gave him what he wanted in the setup of the car, and at that point, it's over. Mexico, dominant. Chicago, dominant. Sonoma, dominant. Watkins Glen, dominant. Roval, probably going to be dominant. So, ultimately, that kind of answered some questions about COTA earlier in the year because, just looking at how the road courses have gone down this year, it just makes it even more bizarre. But the question would be, what stops Shane van Gisbergen from winning? It's either an oddly timed caution, a late race restart, or someone else comes up that's just as good at the road courses because, don't get me wrong, we look at this top 5, top 10, Christopher Bell's a great road racer. He's got 3 road course wins in his career. Chris Buescher obviously beat SVG at Watkins Glen last year. William Byron's a multi-time road racer. Ryan Blaney's won on a road course. Chase Briscoe has a few top 5s on the road courses this year. Suarez has won on a road course. Reddick's won multiple road courses. Chastain's won on a road course. Allmendinger's won multiple road courses. The list goes on. We have our own good road course racers. I would say even really good or elite road course racers. But there's elite, which I would say is Bell, Elliott, Larson, Buescher. But you got to go to the ceiling here, to get to SVG's level. It's not even close. These NASCAR guys have raced 50-something road course races in their career across all 3 series. Maybe they can get closer to that 100 number, maybe. Shane van Gisbergen's raced on road courses his whole life, and he's also raced on road courses in a car that's super similar to the current Cup car. And it's not even just that. The Xfinity car he's just as good at. So, truly, if it's not a weird timed caution, if it's not a late race restart getting wiped out, I think it's got to be Zilisch. We saw Sonoma. I know some people think that what happened at Sonoma, SVG kind of laid off of him, kind of gave him a couple breaks. And, for sure, he's not racing him as aggressively as if that was Austin Hill, but I don't think he just sat back there and just let him win. So Zilisch has the pace. They can match each other's lap times. Zilisch at times can match SVG. I think Zilisch is the biggest threat to SVG. So it may not be next year. It may not be early season next year. It may not even be the middle of the season. It may take till the Roval in the fall. I don't know. But I think Zilisch would be the biggest threat to SVG on the road courses. That's just my opinion. Born Again Briar, hello. Neil, hello. Welcome. I'm very behind on comments from New Zealand. Hello, Neil. Brawny 24 ever says, I wish I could have some positivity to say, but I can't. The Gen 7 car, the racing over the weekend, and especially that Kiwi. I just can't enjoy road racing anymore. I can't. Yeah, it's obviously been a frustrating topic over the past 3 or 4 years. The short tracks and road courses, which are usually really good in NASCAR, at the Gen 6, at the end of the Gen 6 era, we looked forward to the short tracks and road courses. That was our, let's go short tracks this week, road courses this week. We're about to get a 10 out of 10 race, or not even that. We're just going to get a really solid race. We're going to see a lot happen. But we dreaded going to the intermediates. We dreaded Kansas. We dreaded the Charlotte Oval. We dreaded Texas. We dreaded Vegas. Next gen hits, it completely 180s. Now we love going to Kansas. We love going to the Charlotte Oval. We love going to Kansas. And now we see a road course or a short track. Like we see Richmond this weekend. We're like, oh, okay. And then we see the Roval in the fall. We're going to be like, oh, not again. Like another road course. And once again, I don't think it's even necessarily SVG dominating. Like the Charlotte Roval 2022, that was a rough race. Coda 2024 was not horrid, but it was mid, as the kids would call it. 2023 Watkins Glen was rough. I can pick a good chunk of road courses that have been mid or rough in the next gen car, and there's only a handful that have been really good. I would say all 3 Chicago races have delivered. Coda this year was a fantastic race. Indianapolis Road Course 2023, I remember that being a pretty good race. So, I mean, we can pick and choose and go through every one, but yeah, it's ultimately the car. Sometimes you can make passes. Like I saw a lot of references, like when I said in my video last night, there wasn't a lot of passing happening unless there was a 20-lap differential in tires, and people were saying, oh, well, Shane van Gisbergen was able to pass at ease. Well, yeah, because he was the best car by a freaking 5-second gap at a lap. Not actually, but point being, he's so much better than everyone else. He doesn't find a way to pass. He doesn't need to find a reason to pass, or he doesn't need to find a way to pass because he's just that good. Whereas it took Christopher Bell a while to get through the field. Chase Briscoe was on the same strategy as SVG, and he was sitting in 10th by the time SVG got to lead, and he only gets up to 5th. He was second on that strategy, I think. So, I don't know. The Gen 7 talk is just, it's so annoying at this point. And it's not, it's got to be brought up because it's a problem. We've had some really bad races, consistently at the type of tracks that are consistently not providing. So it's got to be talked about, but it just, I don't even know what to talk about. Let's see here. Hello, Cameron. Yeah, Brock. Yeah, for sure. Zilisch breaking his collarbone, as you said, it sucks. But I still don't get the whole. You're not the only one. I saw tons of comments saying it was karma or something, and I don't agree with the mentality. Once again, maybe I'm too soft. Zilisch was never off the track. NASCAR doesn't deem it off the track, so SVG needed to leave room. I'm an SVG guy and would have been against Zilisch and everything else, but this is NASCAR, says Cameron. So Cameron here, bringing up the next debate point, does NASCAR need to do something? Do they need to enforce track limits? Do they need to do something else so that you're not swinging it 6 lanes off the racetrack off of the curbs? I think there's a happy medium in a sense. I'm not a fan of track limits at all. I think it's stupid. Not stupid. Yes, okay, stupid in the sense that if you have all this racetrack out there, you have all this pavement, and you're telling the drivers not to go out there, I just don't understand that logic. If you want drivers to stay within a limit, put something there that will punish them. Don't make it go to a steward's office. Don't make it go to a replay review system to see if all 4 tires are within a white line. That's just, what are we doing? Do something that will truly punish them for exceeding track limits. I don't want to see race cars, but if you put some gravel out there, you put some grass, the drivers it's going to kill the lap. It's going to completely kill their chance at, pole, a good qualifying spot, at making a pass. So you put some grass out there, like Sonoma. There's one area of runoff at Sonoma. One single turn. Everything else around it is dirt or grass. We never talk about track limits at Sonoma because it's all self-policed. You either run in the dirt and you spin yourself out, or you run off track and you completely lose your lap, lose 5 or 6 positions. Well, that's what they got to do, if you ask me. So Watkins Glen, they've paved everything over, so I guess rip up the concrete, pick a measurement, and bam, there you go. And then that'll start policing itself. That's just my opinion, though. Susan says in regards to the SVG Zilisch incident, it happens, mistakes happen, can see both sides. He's 19 years old. And yeah, that's another thing about the SVG Zilisch incident is that Zilisch, he's 19 years old. Like, he's still learning. Like, we cannot expect him to be perfect in his early days of racing, in his early days of NASCAR. That's the whole point of the Xfinity and Truck Series. Sometimes you're going to make some pretty dumb mistakes that are going to come back to bite you. But it's also the place you're supposed to make mistakes, because if you make that mistake in Cup, there's a lot more eyeballs, there's a lot more pressure, there could be a bigger punishment for it, like in terms of someone getting back to you and just the implications. So better him to make the mistake now, better for him to learn from this experience, to learn from this incident when he's 19 years old, because that's the fact of the matter. He's learning on the fly. He's trying to figure it out on the fly. This isn't going to be he shows up to the Xfinity Series, makes his debut at 18 years old, and he knows everything. Like, that's not how I don't think any racing works. Like, I don't think you can go find any great race car driver that was perfect at 18, 19 years old. All right, I'm very far behind. I'm going to try to rapid fire some of these. Born Again Briar says, want to give some credit to William Sawalich. He started the year off really bad, but he has been better lately. Too late for points, but he could win his way in. And that's a great point, Borderline Briar, or Born Again Briar. I forgot you changed your name. So if we go to the Xfinity points, William Sawalich at the early part of the year, like it was like a weekly thing. We'd come to the Xfinity points, and we go all the way down here. We'd see Sawalich, and like he'd be behind Eric Almirola, who's on a part-time schedule. And we'd be like, oh my God, Sawalich's having an awful year. Like, what is he doing there? Like, it's a Joe Gibbs racing car. He's had a fantastic few weeks here. Sawalich has really picked it up despite just the finishing positions here. All right, top 10 at Coda, top 10 at Atlanta, very good. But then, it's been disaster from that to Mexico, it looks like. But then Mexico gets a top 10. A couple other not great results, but third at Sonoma, the best car besides SVG and Zilisch on a road course. That's an incredible accomplishment. Top 10 at Dover, top 10 at Indy, close to the top 5. Decent pace at Iowa. And Watkins Glen is 26th, but it was almost the same as Sonoma. He was third for a good chunk of this race before he got taken out in that giant pileup triggered by Austin Hill. So Sawalich and the 18 Xfinity team have really picked it up over these past few weeks. So as Born Again Briar said, you got to give them some credit. They've really started to find their footing. They've really started to make some progress. They have some legit speed that they're supposed to do in that JGR car. And yeah, we'll see if he can win his way into the playoffs. I think they've got 3 left. Ooh, Manny V says, hot take, SVG's overrated. Zilisch has done more than him. I don't know about that. I mean, on the road courses, I don't think you could say that. Like, if you're saying SVG's a championship favorite, he's going to go out there and just knock everyone out in the playoffs, then yeah, I think from that aspect you could say it. But on the road courses, I don't think you could say that. But that's just me. Kloss and Z. Oh, Jamie, hello. How's it going? Kloss and Z says, I thought SVG did a great job holding off Zilisch as long as he did. And yeah, back to that whole thing. Once again, like, I don't think anyone would have seen, because Zilisch was so much better than everyone that day, even SVG. He was just struggling with the car and everything. I don't think anyone would have seen SVG holding on as long as he did. Because as I said, it was 7, 8, 9 laps. But he did. So it was impressive until, Zilisch kind of dumped him there. So yeah, it was a little bit awkward. Hello, Nash Chevy. Mark says, same in V8 supercars. The Gen 3 supercars crap. That's why SVG left. He hated the car, but in NASCAR it's all new to him, so he's enjoying it. Yeah, I mean, I don't know anything about supercars, but everything I read online is this Gen 3 is not great. SVG's been very vocal that he was not having fun in that car. He couldn't drive it like he wanted to, and like he just wasn't having fun. So the NASCAR thing kind of gave him a new challenge, a new perspective, something different to do. And yeah, once again, I'm a bad source on supercars, so I'll let you guys debate that in the comments. But yeah, the ovals are a completely different animal, obviously. It's annoying seeing SVG dominate. I'm getting massive fatigue and start taking road courses as a massive nightmare that I wish to sleep through, says Brawny24 ever. Yeah, that's the thing about NASCAR fans is that we get some fatigue whenever someone starts winning too much. Obviously, the Jimmy Johnson 5 championship streak, NASCAR fans got fed up with that. They had to switch the format up on him a few times before he stopped winning. I'm trying to think of other, like when Denny Hamlin was winning all the super speedways. Kyle Busch won a lot. People didn't like him for doing that. I mean, people just don't like greatness in a sense. Or not that they don't like, but you do want to see someone new win, you know, like last year, Buescher beating SVG. SVG, who's this great road course racer. This was before he had all the success in Cup this year, but the high expectations on SVG and the road courses, you know, Watkins Glen, and Buescher beats him straight up. Like, he forces SVG into a mistake, and he goes on and wins. That was like, oh my God, like, holy crap. Like, Buescher just beat this world-class road racer. Like, that was so cool. Like, upset alert. Wow, epic moment. That's going to be played for decades. And then SVG, he doesn't just win, but he, like, kills everyone. He dominates. He obliterates the field, however else you want to put it. You got to respect it. Like, you can get the fatigue from it, but you got to respect it. You got to, like, sit back and be like, okay, we're watching greatness. We're watching NASCAR history. But, yeah, from a sense, like, the day that someone finally beats him, whether it's the Roval this year, whether it's next year, 2 years from now, and whoever it may be, whether it's Bell, whether it's Zilisch, whether it's someone randomly has a really good weekend on a road course. Yeah, that kind of makes it more special in a sense, if that makes sense. Like when Verstappen won all but 3 races in 2023, like when Sainz won that Singapore race, that was like, oh my God, Red Bull lost, Verstappen lost, like throw a parade, oh my God. Well, you know, that's probably going to be the reaction when Shane van Gisbergen finally wins a road course by some NASCAR fans. Hello, Marty. Marty Wood. We got a couple Martys in here. Marty Wood, hello. Jay Krill says, question from a relatively clueless new fan. What happened to Chase Elliott on road courses? I know he got 4 in a row in the previous gen car, but did other drivers also fall off with the Gen 7 car? Great question by Jay Krills. Krills? That's a very valid question. And honestly, this was shocking. This weekend was especially shocking because Chase Elliott had no wrecks, had no issues, just straight up finished 26th. But Elliott, while he hasn't won a road course since 2021, since the previous generation of car, as you mentioned, he's still been really good at the road courses. Like, we're talking top 5, top 10 consistently. If we go to earlier this year, got dumped on lap 1, turn 1 at Coda, came back to finish 4th. Other road courses this year, he finished 3rd at Mexico, I think. Yeah, 3rd at Mexico, 3rd at Sonoma, and then Watkins Glen is the outlier. Chicago, street course, 16th. So he's still good on the road courses. It's just every once in a while he has a stinker like this. I mean, this was a super stinker, but every once in a while he has like a 16th. So, and this car has not really fit his driving style. Like, he won a bunch in that first season, but he's only got 2 wins since 2022. So it just doesn't fit him as well in terms of the Gen 6. And I think he's kind of talked about that. And Kyle Busch has also been very open about that as well, that he can't really drive the Gen 7, the next gen car, like he drove the Gen 6. And he had a driving style with the Gen 6. Well, both Elliott and Busch have had to adjust their driving styles to this new car, and it just doesn't suit them as well. So, yeah, we could go through a few other drivers and talk about that, but that's the kind of quicker answer, even though it was still a pretty long answer. No, Pastel Ninja K, I do not think NASCAR should penalize Austin Hill. I don't think it was intentional. I think it was just a dumb move. I think he just messed up. He miscalculated. I said that word a lot Saturday night with Zilisch and with Hill. I just straight up think he miscalculated. I think he thought that he could get back in line behind McDowell and he just whiffed it. As a result, it triggered a 20-car pileup and it just didn't help. Excuse me. It did not help for him that it was right off of his suspension where he intentionally wrecked someone. And no one's going to give Austin Hill the benefit of the doubt. Like, he has a reputation at this point. Like, he's had some moments and, he's now intentionally wrecked someone. So no one's going to give him the benefit of the doubt. But I don't think that was intentional. I think it was just a bad move. I think if that's someone else, that it's not blown up as much. Like, if it's Sheldon Creed that does that, then we'll say, oh, Sheldon Creed, that was dumb, that was stupid. But by Monday, by today, we're off of it. We're probably not even talking about it. But because it was Austin Hill, we're talking about it. Everyone's like, Austin Hill, what are you thinking? You're so dumb. You're so bad at this NASCAR thing. Like, you should be suspended. No, he should not be suspended. I think that's overreacting. Sam Wright says, how about giving the New Zealand motorsports system credit for the talent it produces and the support systems that offers drivers the opportunity to further motorsports aspirations? Yeah, New Zealand's got it. They got themselves a pipeline. Scotty Mack, SVG, Scott Dixon. I know I'm forgetting some. There's probably some in supercars. There's probably some more in IndyCar and other series around the world. But no, Australia's got a lot of really good drivers. New Zealand's got a lot of really good drivers. So I don't care who it is. If they want to come over here, try out NASCAR, go crazy. I know Will Brown's coming back in a couple weeks. If Brock Feeney wants to try it out, I know he's the current points leader in supercars. If he wants to try it out, that'd be so cool. So whoever it is, and even outside of supercars, if, Max Verstappen, shoot for the moon here, but Max Verstappen, if you're one of the 50 people watching this, Max Verstappen, I know you're not, come and join NASCAR for a week. We'd have fun. It seems like it'd be your kind of thing. I think you'd enjoy it. Jay Krills, you're good. Like, that's everything sports related. Everyone overreacts to everything that happens, The Chiefs this season, they're going to win 3-4 straight games. They're going to go a 5-game win streak, and we're going to go, oh my God, they're the greatest dynasty ever, better than the Patriots. But then they're going to lose a game to a team that they're heavy favorites against, and it's the NFL. And everyone's going to say the dynasty's dead. Patrick Mahomes needs to be traded. Like, what a joke of a franchise. Like, it's what we do. We overreact to everything. So, and once again, like, the fact of the matter is Chase Elliott hasn't won a road course in 4 years now. So the question should be asked, about Chase Elliott on the road courses. But to sit here and potentially say he's bad at the road courses, I don't think you said that. But there's been a significant change in how well he's done at the road courses. Horsefly 1020 says, why was nobody complaining about Elliott when he was winning all the road courses years ago? Well, he is the most popular driver, so he's got that going for him. And up until 2021, there weren't as many. Like, we had 4 a year maybe in 2020, 2021, or 2019, 2020. But then 2021 is when we added COTA. That's when we added Road America. We had the Daytona Road Course on there, and that was on top of our normal 3 of the Roval, Sonoma, Watkins Glen. So, yeah. Probably the fact that it was a little bit more spread out helps. Like, I truly think 6 road courses is the perfect number, and I think there's a way to spread it out perfectly. Like, Chicago and Sonoma back to back, I think they could have spread that out a little bit better. I don't think we need more. I don't think we need less. Like that's another problem I have, is that when people overreact to a bad race, like people watched that race at Watkins Glen yesterday. It wasn't a great race, and they say, "Oh, get rid of all the road courses. Like go back to the old Watkins Glen and Sonoma. Like those are the only road courses." But like 5 years ago, we had a great race at where were we road course racing in 2020? I think we had Daytona Road Course, we had the Roval, we had no Watkins Glen and Sonoma because of COVID. Okay, so the Roval, I think we had some rain at the Roval, we had some chaos there, and Elliott still won, but everyone was like, that's so cool, that's so epic, like we should have more road courses, this is great. In 2021, we had a few good road courses, and we're still saying, yeah, keep this many road courses, short tracks and road courses, that was the whole thing. We had horrible intermediate racing 5 years ago, but we had great short tracks and road courses. So the NASCAR fans are yelling, more short tracks, more road courses, less intermediates. Well, NASCAR listened. They gave us North Wilkesboro. They gave us Iowa. They gave us a street race. They gave us Mexico. They gave us COTA. They gave us Road America. Well, now this new car doesn't race well on the short tracks and road courses. And now everyone's overreacting and backtracking. They're like, get rid of the road courses, less short tracks. Like it's going to be this eternal cycle. The next car will end up being really good on the road courses and short tracks, and the intermediates will be bad again. Well, are we going to overreact to that too and flip the script and just keep doing this over and over and over and over? Like, it's just this unfortunate pattern that we have. We're asking for more intermediates. We're going to get it more intermediates. We're getting Chicagoland back, but what happens when we get a new car around the 2031, 2032 year and that car doesn't provide on the intermediates? Are we going to go back to screaming for road courses and short tracks? Like, I think there's a perfect balance that we just need to stay consistent with. You do X number of road courses, X number of short tracks, X number of super speedways, X number of intermediates, and you say this. That's it. We can sub them out every few years. Like if you don't want to go to Chicagoland this year and you want to go back to Kentucky, okay, flip those dates. Cool. You don't want to go to COTA this year? Okay, we'll flip in Mexico for this specific season. Just exchange them, rotate them, I just think they need to set a number and be happy with it. And I know there's a lot more complicated logistics that I'm not thinking about that could make it more complicated to do this, but I don't know. Anywho. Do you think that OEMs are waiting for the next generation car before deciding to join the Cup Series? No idea, Jamie. I know Dodge wants to get back in. I know there's been some sprinklings and rumors about Honda. No idea what the thought process is. I think another part of waiting at this age and era is the whole electric vehicle talk. Like, and not even like fully converting to electric, but hybrids and, you know, engines and sustainable fuels and everything like that. I think that's probably maybe some manufacturers are waiting to see what NASCAR does before fully committing. But I could not tell you. Yeah, Scotty Mack at NASCAR would be cool. I think we've talked about that before, but Team Penske would be the coolest, but obviously there's a little bit of a conflict there with Team Penske running Ford in NASCAR, but they run Chevy and IndyCar, so there would be a little bit of a conflict there. But he could run the Project 91 car, but then that's a Team Penske conflict of interest because he's racing against Penske. NASCAR fans will whine about anything. The format is the format. I wanted Elliott to make the playoffs in 2023 when he was 20th in points. So y'all only hate the format when it's against your driver. I mean, yeah. I love the playoffs is the name there. But, yeah, you're not wrong. Like, NASCAR fans are always going to find a reason to complain. If we go back to the 36-race championship, people are going to say, oh, my God, there's only 3 contenders every year. And, oh, my God, it got clinched 2 races early. What a horrible season. What a waste of time. We're going to overreact to stuff like that. So we're always going to whine, always going to complain, always going to look at the negative. But I try my best. I think some of us try to our best to look at the positives. Like, not all road course racing this year has been bad. I asked last night. In fact, I wanted to do that poll. I'll do that poll tonight. Start a poll. What has been the best road course race of 2025? I vote Coda. Maybe I'm biased because I was there. Dang it. There's only 4 options. Okay. We're going to go Coda. We're going to go Mexico. Sonoma or Chicago. And then we're going to go Sonoma or Watkins Glen. We're going to get... And you're just going to have to tell me if it's Sonoma or Watkins Glen in the comments. So, unfortunately, we didn't have enough room for the poll, but go vote. Make sure this thing came up. Killer. But let me know what your favorite road course of the season was. I vote Coda. Once again, I might be biased because I was there, but I just thought that was a fantastic race. Everything that happened at the end of that race. 2 races left. Yep. What is my favorite and least favorite Gen 6 season? 2014, that was a really fun year, so that's probably my favorite Gen 6 season. Least favorite... I'm trying to think of like the least memorable season. 2019 was pretty rough. Because I would have said 2020, but COVID happened and that just kind of made everything a wild experience. We had midweek races. We had like 3 races at Darlington within a week. So 2020 is like the opposite in terms of forgettable, unforgettable. But 2014 is my favorite. I would probably say 2019. That was a pretty rough season. Because I think that's when they ran the 550 package everywhere. Like, the Martinsville races were horrible that year. I think, like, Keslowski led, like, 450 out of 500 in the spring, and then Truex led 430 out of 500 in the fall. Couldn't even tell you who won Bristol that year. Probably Kyle Busch. And then, like, Richmond, I don't even know what happened there. Watkins Glen, I think Elliott led, like, 85 of 90 laps. Sonoma, I think Truex led like 90 of 100 laps. Intermediates, we had the Larson-Bowman Chicagoland battle for Bowman's first win, but outside of that, Texas that year was rough. The 600, I don't even remember. I just remember Truex won. Southern 500, I don't even remember. So 2019 is probably the most forgettable out of that. Oh, okay. So Born Again Briar, you kind of backed me on 2019. That's good to know. So Pastel Ninja K says 2 races left. We know anyone can win at Daytona. Who do you think shows up at Richmond and steals a playoff spot? I would say Priest just because he's so good at the short tracks, but I don't know. That Austin Dillon random raw speed out of nowhere, that felt like a fluke last year. Maybe I'll get proven wrong. Mike Wallace, welcome. Mike Wallace, you just reminded me. I got to look at the fantasy standings. So first of all, I got to brag. My 36 for 36. Shane van Gisbergen. I finally used him on one of these road courses, and I got to win. That's my 3rd win of the year. I picked Larson at Homestead, Briscoe at Pocono, SVG at a road course. So 2 of them were super predictable, but then the 3rd one was Briscoe at Pocono. I'll be real. That was a lucky guess. Fantasy this week. Mike Wallace. First of all, Mike, thank you for being here. Thank you for supporting. Over 50 watching now. Love it when SVG wins. Yeah. Mike, when SVG wins, it makes this channel get a lot more views. So I appreciate everyone. But those of you watching from Australia and New Zealand, I appreciate you. You guys have not randomly, but I would say randomly, shown up over the last couple of years. So as long as you guys keep showing up, I'll continue to give you Shane van Gisbergen NASCAR updates because there's so much that happens in NASCAR. Everyone's got their own thing they got to focus on, different headlines, different stories, but I'll always try my best to focus on that one as one of my stories, one of my headlines. So as long as you guys continue to watch, as long as you guys continue to care about Shane van Gisbergen and NASCAR, I will continue to give you those updates. Anywho, let's talk about the league standings. I'm still 14th. I've had 4 straight top 10s. I've just been sitting in 14th. Okay, race results. Tyler Hernandez 6. You are this week's winner. Congratulations to you. Oh boy, none of our contenders up front. Mike, where are you? Mike, how far am I going to have to Oh, Mike. Oh no, Mike. Oh, Mike, 17th. Woo, you were making a hard charge there for the championship, but you've had a rough couple weeks here, my friend. I mean, even Klaus van Gisbergen's had a rough week. Zerkman 95, they tied. Let's go to the league standings. Dunkin' Donuts, 72-point lead. Klaus van Gisbergen, second. Dan the Jets fan, our defending champion, making a kind of mid-season charge, trying to defend that championship. Expat_Kiwi_Mike_Wallace, who is here with us, by the way, 16 points back of third. Zerkman 95 is fifth. Matt Smith 53. Fantastic Priest. RT Racing only 1 point behind. Fantastic Priest. Aussie Matt is ninth. Tyler Hernandez 6. Our winner this week is 10th. Micah MLB 15. He's been moving up the standings as well. Hell on Wheels 24. Zero Apex. I am still almost 200 points off of the guy in front of me despite 4 straight top 10s. I'm going to lose my mind, guys. I'm having the best 4-race stretch I've had all season long, and I'm still 14th in the points. Oscar Dave, Crackler, Dr. Zero, Jamie, who is the lifelong Logano fan, Nee, David Jerry 24 fan, Sportswagen, Hackadash House, Tritech, Supercar Nut, Space Wrangler Racing, JTF 526, Rebutted, and all these people who have not filled out their entries. I'm judging you. Not too much, though. Don't worry, you're fine. Anyways, that's our fantasy league. And there's Connor Zilisch. We've already looked at him in a sling, but there he is again. So, anywho. Dean from Christchurch. Hello, welcome. Have I watched the movie McLaren? No, I have not. I have a couple McLaren hats in there. I've worn them a few times. I'm glad the Kiwis appreciate it. Every time I wear the McLaren hat for a Shane van Gisbergen recap or like some sort of Shane van Gisbergen video, you guys, the Kiwis always say like, nice touch, nice job. I try to be very intentional with my hat wearing. Like whenever something happens, like if we go to a road, like we're talking about a road course right now, so I'm wearing my Coda hat. If we go to a short track, I try to wear my Bristol hat. Obviously it's kind of easy. Like if Chris Buescher does something, I wear a 17 hat. Kyle Busch does something, I wear a Kyle Busch hat. Something bad happens, I wear the don't bother me, I'm crabby hat. I wore that 3 times this weekend. So, I try to be very intentional with my hat. So whenever someone comments on it, like whenever I wear the McLaren hat for a Shane van Gisbergen video and someone says, hey, it's a Kiwi hat, nice touch, I'm like, thank you so much for noticing. You made my day. I'm very intentional with my hat wearing in these videos, and it like makes my day when someone says something like that. So I don't remember how we got on that. Of course, Dean's comment about the McLaren movie. But no, I have not watched that. So how will I do this week in fantasy, Jamie? Oh, I'm due for a bad race. I've had 4 straight top 10s. I've had 4 really good races here. I am due for a bad race. My lineup's probably going to be Denny. Probably going to be Joey Logano. Blaney maybe. Briscoe, he's on a hot streak right now. Play the hot hand. I think I got like 6 usages left of him. I think I got 1 more use of Larson in the regular season, so I'll use up my last Larson. And then my garage, I might go with a wild card like a Josh Berry. I think I might do that. I think that sounds good. Oh, Born Again Briar with a fantastic point. Let's go to the truck series. So this is the... Oh, I forgot. Oops, I forgot to mention this at the beginning of the video. Live stream. So Andres Perez was released from Spire Motorsports. Apparently the 77 car and the 07 car or truck are going to like merge or something, or one of them shutting down. It sounds complicated. So Andres Perez gets the raw end of the deal. He gets released by Spire, but he immediately gets picked up by Nice. I'm assuming they worked out a deal. So he's going to be driving the 44 truck. Quick news there. Cool. Sucks for Perez to get, let go from a team mid-season, but great for him to still get an opportunity. He was having a really good run, actually, at Watkins Glen this past weekend. He was third in that race, second in that race on a late race restart before he had some issues. So, yeah, we'll see how that goes. Connor has wrecked his teammate out of the race 2 weeks in a row. Yeah, Mintox Ace, we were kind of talking about it earlier. I mean, Connor Zilisch is 19. He's not going to be perfect right off the bat. He's going to learn as time goes on. He's not going to be perfect right off the bat. So he's learning. He's figuring things out. The Xfinity Series is the place to learn. It's better in the Xfinity Series to do this there than the Cup. So, yeah. Clausen Z says, Dunkin' Donuts, your lead isn't big enough. I'm coming for you. Yeah, hey, it's a thrilling championship battle in our fantasy league. Dunkin' Donuts, Clausen Z, who's up here, is in the thick of that mix. Dan, the Jets fan, trying to make a comeback. He's our defending champion. Expat_Kiwi_Mike_Wallace. I think I just said it without reading it. I am so proud of myself for that. He made a late season run, but he's been struggling the last couple weeks. I got a stranglehold on 14th place, so... Yeah. Yeah. Oh, Born Again Briar with a great point. I will bring up, if you want to join the fantasy league, it's never too late. It's for fun. There's no incentive. There's no bonus. There's no anything. It's genuinely just to have fun, just to kind of interact with you guys in a sense and talk a little bit of trash. Like, not too much. Like, don't go crazy, but, have fun. Like, I beat all the championship contenders this week, I think, except for Dan the Jets fan. So, bam, roasted. Like, that in itself is a roast if you lose to me in fantasy. So, anywho. Will NASCAR have a dirt race again? Ooh, that's a fantastic question. I would like to think so, but I don't know. Because everyone says, like, how about we go to, like, a real racetrack, like a real dirt track? Well, I don't know if they have the capacity for that. I don't know. Zero Apex says, driver of the day for me. Chase Briscoe, lap 55, goes from 12th to 1st. Pits, lap 67, then gains 14 places, 19th to 5th. Hey, there you go. My feed isn't up to date, but the Kiwi misses Liam Lawson, who beat Max in the last race. Just FYI. Yeah. Well, Cameron, I'm gonna flip that on its head for you. Who's to say that the Red Bull Junior car's not better than the Red Bull car? That Red Bull car is pretty awful right now. I think there's a legit argument to be made that the backup team, the B team, that car is better. Because I mean, Liam Lawson, he was, albeit it was 2 races, he was struggling in that car for those 2 races, and then all of a sudden he goes over to the Red Bull Junior team and he's scoring points on a pretty decent basis. I know they would never do it because it would hurt their brand, it would hurt their reputation. I really want to see Max in that Red Bull B team car, because if he goes out and he like wins, or he goes out and he like outpaces the McLarens in the Red Bull B team car, that would be so funny. That would be like an all-time moment. It would be so funny. Ooh, Pastel Ninja K giving me some advice for fantasy. Use Bell if you can for fantasy because he was leading Richmond last year before he had a mechanical issue. Noted. I think I have 2 usages left, and I think it resets after the playoffs, so noted. Yeah, let's see what this poll's at. 34 votes. Coda has 38%. Chicago 35%. Mexico 18%. Sonoma, Watkins Glen 9%. That's about how I'd rank them. I think last night I said Coda, Chicago, Mexico, Sonoma, Watkins Glen. That was my rank. So, yeah, Monty, I'll look into it. I'll look into that documentary. Jamie, I think you've asked me this question like for the last 3 years. No, 2 years. Because last year, before Bowman won the Chicago Street Course, this was a question. And not just you, but just in general. And now it's the same thing. Does Ty Gibbs, Kyle Busch, Brad Keselowski, or Alex Bowman win? Bowman's in a Hendrick car, so I'm going to give him the edge. Ty Gibbs, I feel like, is due for his first win, but that team's a little bit inconsistent, though they've had a good summer stretch. Brad and Busch just haven't. Brad showed something at Iowa. You know, maybe he shows up at Richmond again this week. Kyle Busch, though, his best showings have been on road courses this year. Outside of that, I don't know. A super speedway maybe? Like, there's no type of track I feel good about Kyle Busch at right now in terms of winning. Whereas Brad, I could argue super speedway short track. Bowman and Gibbs, I would say they're in a Gibbs and Hendrick car any given week. Jamie brings up a fantastic point. Monster Energy cars can't seem to win this year. They have 3 entries this year. They got Riley Herbst, which I don't think anyone expected him to win a race this year. No disrespect. Ty Gibbs, who is still searching for that first win, and it's been 3 years in Cup now. I think this is his 3rd season. And then Tyler Reddick, who won 4 races last year, made the championship 4. He's well in the playoffs. By the way, let's go to the playoff picture. Tyler Reddick hasn't won. So Tyler Reddick can... God, what? This is not the playoff picture. What is this? What is this? What are we doing here? Playoff picture. Am I going crazy, or does this say playoff picture and it's not the playoff picture? Am I losing my mind here? You gotta be kidding me. NASCAR, fix your website for the 1 billionth time this season. Oh my God. I hate this website so much. Fix your website, NASCAR. Nope, click too aggressively. My bad. All right, playoff picture is Tyler Reddick can clinch this weekend. Outside of that, it's either Bowman, Buescher, or a new winner. That's essentially the breakdown, I would say. Yeah, Bell had a great race yesterday. Finishing second to SVG is like the best thing you can do on a road course right now, and he's done it twice this season. In fact, he's won the other road course this year. So Christopher Bell, I would say, is the second best road course racer in NASCAR right now in the Cup Series. Zilisch might have something to say about that next year. Still cannot believe he broke his collarbone in Victory Lane. Cody Ware wins Daytona, says Lindsay. NASCAR Social will be fun. Hey, I'm saving Cody Ware for my 36 for 36. He's going to be my usage at Daytona. You never know. You never know. Who got closest this time with last Monday's picks? Marty, I don't know. I think a lot of people picked Zilisch Saturday, SVG Sunday. I did the opposite. I did SVG Saturday and Zilisch Sunday. Obviously, that went quite wrong as SVG ended wrecked in Xfinity, and Connor Zilisch ended up breaking his collarbone in Victory Lane on Saturday and not even racing on Sunday. So I whiffed massively. My bad. I've had one glorious moment in terms of Monday picks, and we're coming up on the 1-year anniversary. Next Monday is Daytona picks. Monday picks next week for Daytona. I am going to be unbearable during that segment. Unbearable. I don't even know what I'm going to do. I'm just going to be unbearable. You're going to have to deal with me for so long. Austin Dillon gets redemption 1 year later. It's possible. I just don't know. That speed last year was so random. Oh, okay. Hey, Australians. Hello. Hi. Australian people watching this video. I need confirmation on this. I have never been to Australia. I have never been to New Zealand. I have never been to Oceania. I have never been to anywhere on the Pacific. Well, if you want to get really technical, let's not get really technical. I've never been to the Pacific Ocean outside of California. in Alaska that one time, in Washington. Okay. Outside of the United States. There, that's okay. Wait, Canada is still there. Outside of North America. I've never been to any other Pacific Island areas. As I said, New Zealand, Australia. So I do not know what any cities are like. I don't know what any towns are like. So I need some confirmation on this. I don't know if this was just like pit crew or pit calls, like they have their code words, and this is some code word for what SVG says. Like he says Sydney, Australia, and they know how much to adjust something. Can someone confirm that Sydney is the worst city in Australia? Does anyone want to confirm that? Or is everyone going to get really upset at this? Oh, Marty agrees. Marty agrees that Sydney is the worst city in Australia. Well, that's unfortunate. Oh, Mark also agrees. We got two people who agree. We got Monty, though. Monty's going against it. Monty loves going to Sydney. I know they got a bridge and they got an opera house. And they have a really cool... I can't believe it. They have a really cool TV show. Have you ever heard of NCIS Sydney? Dude, that's some quality television right there. I'm just saying. Zero Apex lives in Newcastle, so obviously detest going to Sydney. Totally, man. Yeah, I totally know what that means. Yeah. Newcastle. That's obviously in New South Wales. I knew that. It's right next to Sydney. Yeah, totally knew that. You could always pop up to Brisbane if you wanted to. It's a little far away, but it's right there, man. A little far from Melbourne. You got to kind of take that curve there, and obviously need a boat to get to Tasmania, but yeah, totally. Okay. Monty says, but it's the closest flight getting there from New Zealand, which is a plus. All right, well there you go. I don't know. I got a cousin who I think he's gone to Australia a couple times, and he had really good things to say. He really likes it there, so I'd like to get there one day. Probably not going to be this year. Probably won't be next year. Probably not the year after that. We'll see. We'll see. I don't know. Clausen Z says cities in New Zealand compared to Australia are like small towns. More people in Melbourne than all of New Zealand. So. Yeah, Lindsay, that's how I feel right now. Like I'm getting asked not asked questions, but we're bringing up topics here that I am not in any way close to an expert. I'm not even a casual. Like, I think if you go to Australia for 2 weeks, you stay in a couple of cities for like multiple days, you could call yourself a casual knower of Australian cities. Never been to Australia, never landed in Australia, never flown over Australia, never been within like 1,000 miles of Australia, probably 5,000 miles within Australia. So, yeah, man. Whew. Justy8056. No, I do not skip comments on purpose. If you're talking about the live stream, sometimes like today we've had a lot of traffic, so if I missed something, I'm sorry. If you're talking about like video comments, if I had to estimate, I see 80%. I don't respond to them all because I don't know. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. Depends on the mood, I guess. Anywho. Oh, jeez. More people in Auckland than the whole South Island of New Zealand. All right, that's a fun fact about New Zealand geography there. Oh my goodness. All right, one of our tabs we have to look at tonight. Did you guys see what happened between Brad Keselowski and Carson Hocevar in qualifying? I saw nothing on this. Nothing on TV, nothing on social media, no articles about it. Dude, Carson Hocevar and Brad had the most bizarre run-in. Look at this. So what happened, the story is that Brad apparently impeded Hocevar's qualifying lap. And so Hocevar retaliated by like holding him up or something, or holding it up in the pit lane. I don't even remember the full story. Basically, Brad impeded Hocevar's lap, and Hocevar did some sort of retaliation that pissed Brad Keslowski off. So here's what Brad Keslowski does. Okay, I got to make sure I don't get copyrighted here, people. So sorry if this video quality sucks. But, okay, so you see Brad here. Where is he? So he's in his car. You see him right there? You see this little head popping out of the car? So they showed this on the pre-race. They showed it like 5 minutes before the race. So here's Brad. Right here. You see him? You see the mouse? Dude, look at him go. Look at him sprinting to Hocevar. And look, he gets all up in his... He was furious, dude. Furious. He looked like he wanted to fight him, man. I mean, just... My goodness. Woo. Oh, my. Dude. Oh, my goodness. It got intense there. Yeah, TK, they did show it pre-race. I mean, I did not know that happened. I would have never guessed that happened, but, dude, Brad had a bone to pick with Hocevar. I mean, a lot of people did. I don't know if Hocevar said anything on it, but holy guacamole, dude. Like, just wild things here. The phone's fully charged, so that's good. Usually I'm down like 50%, but all right, cool. Denny with comments that it was SVG's fault in the crash. You deserve to be kicked out of NASCAR. Who deserves to get kicked out of NASCAR? Who? Steven, who's getting kicked out of NASCAR? Oh, Monty. Wonder if he thought it was the start of... Oh, speaking of... Okay, hold on. Dude, did you guys see how... Oh, we got to talk about this too. Did you guys see how Shane van Gisbergen got out of the car on Sunday after he won? After the whole Zilisch incident? Dude, this is just as I said, this weekend was so wacky, but it wasn't even for the racing. Oh yeah, I got some free chicken nuggets at Wendy's, so thanks, Shane van Gisbergen. Lunch was free today. I mean, with a minimum purchase, but I got like a $2 Frosty. All right, here we go. All right, watch how Shane van Gisbergen gets out of the car in the post-race celebration. Ready? Can you see it? Can you guys see it? Oh yeah, you got plenty of space to see it. Ready? All right. Gets out of the car. Doesn't even attempt to stand. Just get out, stand next to the car, do a fist pump, call it a day. And then, of course, look who the top comment is. It's Connor Zilisch. Poor Connor, man. He's never going to hear the end of that. It's going to be like, let's say he goes on, does great things in NASCAR, wins a bunch of races, even goes on to win a championship or two, gets inducted into the Hall of Fame, and people are still going to bring this up. So, poor Connor Zilisch. Hopefully he's okay. I'm curious what his timetable is for return from the injury, though. Because you do hear about race car drivers coming back from collarbone injuries, but the first race back for Xfinity is Daytona, and do you really want to bring him back for Daytona where he could crash really hard again? Like, I honestly think they should sit him out for Daytona, but I don't make that call, obviously, and I'm not a doctor, but I don't know, man. All right, yeah, let's talk about the Xfinity and playoff bubble, if they even show up. if they even show up. That's the entry list. Corey Heim won the truck race again, by the way. I mean, I think we should just expect Corey Heim to win out at this point. Playoff picture. Still doesn't work. Oh, but it works for Xfinity, of course, because, the Xfinity series is the best series. We got to make sure that our website works for the Xfinity series. Oh, my goodness. Okay. Here we go. So, we got 3 races left, I think, if I'm estimating correctly. So Carson Kvapil, I'm pretty confident he'll make it. Sheldon Creed, pretty confident he'll make it. If we get a new winner, that complicates it a bit, but I would assume Creed and Gray are in. The best shots at winners are Daytona. We could get a random winner like Jeb Burton's going to be a great threat there. We could see Ryan Sieg maybe win. Like, he randomly shows up every once in a while. Outside of that, it's got to be a super speedway, which is Daytona. So I'd feel good about these 3. Harrison Burton, decent right now, but things can happen. When we go to the Truck Series playoff bubble, there's 1 race left before we make our cuts, before we do the playoffs. Playoff picture doesn't work for this. I'll be. Thank you, Born Again Briar. So Grant Enfinger is clinched a spot, I believe. Ty Majeski, I think, has clinched a spot. Honeycutt has clinched a spot. Oh, okay. I stand corrected. If we get a new winner, like if Ben Rhodes wins or like Gio wins, then Honeycutt could still technically miss it, but he'd have to crash out like lap 1 and Jake Garcia would have to finish second. So I'm just going to say that if Friesen doesn't apply for a waiver, if Friesen is truly out of this thing, then this is your playoffs right now with the exception of the last spot. I don't know. It could be Garcia. Ben Rhodes is not reigning champion, but he's a 2-time champion, so you never know when he could show up. Gio's in a good truck, so he could point his way in. I would just lean towards staying right here and saying Jake Garcia is going to make it. Plus, remember, Jake Garcia did really good at Rockingham earlier this year, so I don't know. But the Truck Series field gets set, but I would say that this is your playoff field right now. And now we can go to the Cup standings because the website is broken. There used to be a time, I see everyone telling me to scroll down, where you could click playoff picture and the playoff picture would show up immediately, but now you got to scroll. How dare they make me scroll? Tyler Reddick's in. He can clinch a spot this week if he's 60 or 56 points or more ahead of Bowman or whoever it may be. Then he has clinched a spot, so he's in. So now it's down to this. Once again, if there's no new winners, like this is your playoff field. Like these 2 guys are it. I don't see Priest making up 34 points unless Buescher has a disaster, which could happen at Daytona, but we know Priest's history at Daytona. Fact. We know Priest's history at Daytona, don't we, ladies and gentlemen? Oops. Too many. We all know Ryan Priest's history at Daytona. Did that show up for you guys? What the hell? Okay, you can see it. Very good. Yeah, we know Priest's history at Daytona. AXXO Moon says, I haven't missed any NASCAR races in 2 decades. Supercars bored me to death because the officials stopped all retaliation. Hey, I'm all for a good on-track beef or off-track beef. Like, we don't need to see what Austin Hill did at Indianapolis, but, someone bumped someone out of the way. Someone doors someone. Hey, let's get some post-race. We have yet to have, like, a true post-race fight this year that I can remember. Have we had any post-race confrontations this year? Have we had anything this year? Like a true moment of rage. Chris Buescher shoving Tyler Reddick. Ricky Stenhouse Jr. punching Kyle Busch. Jeff Gordon jumping over someone, a pit crew member, to grab Brad Keselowski by the collar. Have we had any of that this year? I don't think we have. I love a good NASCAR fight. No, Pastel Ninja K. That was not. No, no. I mean an out of the car fight. Not using the cars. I mean like a. Not a finger pointing. I want some. Like a physicality, you know? Someone punched someone. Someone grabbed someone, you know? Yeah, stupid NASCAR had to go out and find Stin. I get why they find him, but it ruined any. You guys know what I'm saying here. No one wants to fight anymore because of that. Hey, Clausen Z, AXXO Moon, glad you guys are here. Glad you guys enjoy NASCAR. Yeah, I think so. Someone did like a power ranking of which drivers would be the worst to get into a fight with. And of course, the first thing you do is you go to their size, you go to their physicality, like their build. It was like SVG and Austin Hill are like the ones you just don't want to mess with at all because they're both tall and they got some beef on them. Stenhouse, he's got some muscle. You know, he can throw a good punch. We saw that last year. Chastain can throw a good punch, so I think he was on that list. Kyle Busch, even though he got punched, he's a pretty big guy. Yeah. Should we make some Monday picks? We've been going on for quite a while. I appreciate everyone being here. I appreciate everyone with their comments, with their questions, with their topics. Lindsay, with all due respect to Kyle Larson, he is a tiny guy. He's skinny, and he has been very vocal about how he does not want to be in a fight because he is skinny and small. Shane van Gisbergen versus Kyle Larson in a fight, that's more unfair than Shane van Gisbergen in a Cup Series road course, and that's saying something. So, no, just that would go horribly wrong. Okay, I lied. So there's this article about, potential drivers over here in the US of A that could one day, not necessarily next year, but potentially make the move to F1 and go drive for the Cadillac American team. Boy, this guy in the middle sure does look familiar. Obviously had open wheel aspirations at one point, did some karting in Europe. The day may come that Connor Zilisch gets the offer to go through the ranks of Formula and become a Formula One driver. I don't want that day to be anytime soon. He is currently ours. He is NASCAR's. I want him to be in NASCAR right now. I want him to go do great things in NASCAR before Formula One tries to snatch him up. For now, he's ours. We claim him. We have him. Formula One, you cannot steal Connor Zilisch. You can go take Kyle Kirkwood. You can go steal Scotty Mack or Alex Palou, but not Zilisch right now. Please no. Entry list for the Truck Series. All right, let's make some Monday picks. Truck Series. Notable entries. Brent Cruz is in the 1 truck. I is in the number 02 truck at the ripe young age of 125. Norm Benning is in the field this week. That's right. It's time to make our first Monday pick. Norm Benning top 30. That is my first Monday pick. Sammy Smith is in the 7 truck. Let's see here. Christian Eckes is in the 16 truck. That's cool. Other notable entries, obviously we talked about earlier, Andres Perez is going to be in the 44 truck for Nice Motorsports after being released from Spire or them shutting down that truck, whatever happened there. Luke Finhouse in the 66. Patrick Staropoli in the number 84. Carson Kawapel is going to make a Truck Series start. Of course, he's known for how good he is at the short tracks. So for him to be making a Truck Series start, really cool. Really good opportunity for him. So Monday picks for the Truck Series. I already see a lot of Corey Heim picks. Clausen Z going with Corey Heim. David going with Corey Heim. Marty says Norm is 73. You're darn right. Young and 73. Norm Benning is scoring a top 30 this weekend. That's my first Monday pick. Pastel Ninja K says Heim time. Zero Apex says I know nothing about the Truck Series, so Greg Biffle. Did I skip over Greg freaking Biffle? Is Greg Biffle in this race? You got me second guessing myself. If Greg Biffle's not in this race after you just brought up Greg, I didn't see Greg Biffle anywhere. Where is Greg Biffle? 0 Apex. Why'd you bring up Greg Biffle? Carson Kvapil is Marty's pick. Okay, going to go with Carson. In between the lanes, going with Ty Majeski. Monty going with Corey LaJoy. What am I doing? Can I not read today or something? I can't read today. Okay, Corey LaJoy's in the 77. That's another notable entry. So Monty's going with Corey LaJoy. I whiffed this entry list. Hopefully I don't whiff the next one. Born Again Briar's going to go with Gio. That would burst the playoff bubble. AXXO Moon is going to go with Corey. In between the lanes is saying that Majeski's going on the short tracks. So, all right. Truck Series. I'm going to go with Lane Riggs. Lane Riggs is so good at these short tracks. So, I'm going to go with Lane Riggs. I think he's really good at these short tracks. I think he's going to have a good truck at Richmond. So, yeah, Lane Riggs. On to the Cup Series. Cup Series entry lists. Okay. They redid the entry list on the Cup Series. So, notable entries for the Cup Series. Hopefully I don't miss any this time. Everyone get a look at your sponsor. If you're a Brad Keslowski fan, it's Build Submarines this week. If you're a Chase Elliott fan, UniFirst, Denny Hamlin, Progressive. Fifth Third Bank for Prosper, Texas' own Chris Buescher. Eero for Josh Berry. First notable entry is Jesse Love in the RCR 33 car. Other notable entries, TBA is going to be driving the number 44 car in Cup. Corey Heim in the number 67 car for 2311 Racing. And I think that's it. Did I miss any this time? I don't think I did. Good job. Yay. I didn't suck this time. Anywho. Let's see the picks. Born Again Briar has been very vocal this entire live stream, going with Austin Dillon. Justy8056 is going to go with Brad Keselowski. I love the playoffs, says Noah Gregson. Clausen Z says SVG. Nikolai P. Colt fan says Zane Smith. Suarez fan 000 says Ricky Stenhouse Jr. David's going with either William Byron, Kyle Busch, or Austin Dillon. Marty's going to go with Denny Hamlin. Big W's going to go with Suarez. Remember, Suarez did really good on that option tire last year. Zero Apex is going to go with Denny. Pastel Ninja K is going to go with Dillon. So we got a couple Dillon picks. In between the lanes, going with Dillon. A lot of This is the most confidence anyone has ever had in Austin Dillon. Like, I've never seen this much confidence in Austin Dillon. Go away. So funny. Go away, says Justin Haley. Monty says Kyle Larson. It's time he comes out of his... I don't know what that means. TK says Busch if RCR can match last year's effort. Go back offline, says Kyle Larson. Lindsay says 12. Blaney. Ty N. Gok says Chase Elliott. Popping like a popcorn, says Ty Dillon. On board FF1 says Chase Elliott and Connor Zilisch. Well, oh, you're saying you're a fan of them. I thought that was your pick. I was going to say Zilisch isn't racing this week, and also Xfinity's off. Clausen Z says Austin Dillon returns to the scene of the crime. Brock says SVG or any Hendrick. Mr. Steal Your Tongue says Ross Chastain. Man, the name of some of you guys come up with in your channels are quite interesting. Nice try, Bucko. Going to go with Chris Buescher. Remember, he won this race 2 years ago. John is going to go with Christopher Bell. Christopher Bell, obviously. I think he's a factor every single week. So we've got a wide variety of picks. We got some people going crazy, picking some Noah Gregson, some Ty Dillon, some Cole Custers. But then we got some Christopher Bells. We got a Chris Buescher in there, Ross Chastain. We got a lot of confidence in Austin Dillon this week after how good they were in this race last year, obviously. Once again, I'm not as confident in Austin Dillon this week. I'm not going to rule it out completely, but I just don't feel it. Roblox Ben _XDYT says John Hunter Nemechek. Stop Scotty Gaming says Cole Custer. I love a good redemption story. So last week we saw SVG, or yesterday. It wasn't even last week. It was yesterday. We saw Shane van Gisbergen redeem himself after what went down in 2024 at Watkins Glen. Love a good redemption story. But the problem is there's two possibilities in a redemption story. It should have been Joey Logano, then it should have been Denny Hamlin. Well, I gotta pick one of these redemption stories. If you watched the Monday after a couple weeks ago, I guess that would have been the Monday after Indianapolis or the Monday after Iowa, I told you guys, I'm picking this guy for this race because I believe in a good redemption story. I think he'll be extra motivated. And the fact of the matter is he's really good at this track. I'm going to go with Joey Logano. I just think he's sour about how last year went down. Think he's going to be extra motivated. This is his type of racetrack, a short oval, flatter oval. I think this is a Joey Logano weekend. I'm going to go with Logano. So, yeah. Joey Logano's my pick. Yeah, I mean, Pastel Ninja K. I mean, the 22 car has been a little bit inconsistent, sure, but I don't know. They show up at these type of tracks. They always show up at Phoenix. They usually show good speed at Richmond. I don't know. So, hey, anywho. Anything else? Is there anything else that we need to talk about? Anything else? We've made our Monday picks. Next week's Monday picks are going to be fun. Nope. I don't see anything else. All right, well. Yeah, I guess we can look at the final results of this poll. Chicago was picked as the most popular road course. COTA second, Sonoma or Watkins Glen third, Mexico last. I couldn't split the Sonoma-Watkins Glen because, simply put, it didn't let me. So, yeah, 72 votes. Thank you guys for voting on that. Thank you guys for being here. We had like 65 people in here at one point. So thank you all for supporting. Thank you guys all for watching. We always have a good time on the Monday after. It's just, I don't stream enough. And then last year we started streaming every Monday. Came up with a clever little name for it. And yeah, it's been a weekly tradition at this point. So every Monday after a race, we talk about whatever happened. This week we had some road course controversy. We had a very bizarre injury happen to Connor Zilisch. We've had some history made. We've had some crazy things happen. We probably missed some points still. So thank you guys for watching this live stream. I really hope you enjoyed it. We'll be back later this week. Championship case videos continuing. If you haven't seen the championship case and your favorite driver is either Denny Hamlin, Christopher Bell, Kyle Larson, Shane van Gisbergen, or William Byron, go to the playlist section right now. Watch that video. Tomorrow we have Chase Elliott. Wednesday we have Blaney. Thursday Briscoe. Friday Wallace. Bubba Wallace, if I remember correctly. But thank you guys all for being here. Thank you for supporting. It's been a great weekend for the channel. Born Again Briar, always here. Thank you for being here. Monty, you're in that same club. David is a longtime supporter of the channel, so thank you for being here. Zero Apex, Marty. I mean, we got a lot of just repeat offenders in here. So thank you guys for supporting. Thank you guys for being here. Pastel Ninja K, thank you. Todd 1010. Going back up here through the list. Clausen Z, very dedicated follower. You and Mike, love you guys. But yeah, in between the lanes, of course, here. So thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for being here. As I said, championship case tomorrow. Any news that comes up, I'll let you know. And then we got Richmond. We got some Friday night NASCAR Truck Night in America and a Saturday night Cup race. Back-to-back Saturday night Cup